Welcome to Lords of Lore. I'm your host, Mark. With me is my co-host, Lord Drew. If you like video games, you can check him on Twitch. His username is Lord underscore Drew underscore 72 at Twitch. This episode, we're going to be talking about Buffy the Vampire Slayer, reviewing the show. So, if you're not familiar with Buffy, she's a vampire slayer who battles vampires, demons, and saves the world season to season, pretty much every day.
Yeah, if you're not a fan of the Buffy show, we're gonna be doing a lot of spoilers.
Yeah, so
If you've never seen it, yeah, listen a little, but be wary.
This was one of the first shows I've ever watched where it was character based and different than any show that was on.
Yeah, non-procedural.
The the characters were written great. Again, if you have great characters throwing a generic plot, you're gonna have a great story either way.
Yeah, and they had some good plots, not just but we, as a show, you doing they were back then they're doing 20 plus shows a season. Now they're only doing 8 shows and calling that a season. So
right.
It was different. They spent a whole year doing the shows.
Right, and it was one of the first shows too that had an arc going on from the beginning to the end.
Yes, each season was its own adventure, and then there was also the campaign,
right,
in the season's connections. It was all one fluid story of their lives.
And so the main character was Buffy Summers. She was the Slayer, the chosen one.
Not the first Slayer. She was just a Slayer in a long line of Slayers, dated back thousands of years.
Great character. I liked the character. She was basically a teenage girl that wanted to be normal but couldn't be.
Yeah, she just wanted to hang out with her friends, do teenage girl things, go to dances. She was a very mean girlish before she became the Slayer.
Right.
It helped her change into a better person.
Yeah, and there was plenty of character growth from the beginning to the finale. And
probably, if we're going through the seasons, they grew up. They went from kids to adults.
I mean, and this is there is a Buffy the Vampire Slayer movie which has nothing to do with the TV show.
It's the show is loosely based on the movie, and the show is Buffy. The movie is just awful. That's the only thing I can say about it. I can't stand it.
The creator of Buffy was Josh Whedon. He did the movie too, but they did whatever they wanted to it. So then he decided, I'm going to do the show that I wanted to do.
Right. The studios 80s did up or whatever it was, 90s. I forget when it was made. Whenever it was, it just was awful. It was a bad comedy. I don't like comedies, but it was a bad comedy.
That's the best way to put it. I mean, in the show, there's some comedy, but
it's action, comedy, drama.
It's got it all.
Yeah, it's like superheroes. It covers everything.
And she had some friends to help her along the way. One of them was Xander Harris.
Alexander Harris.
He was just a normal teenage guy, and he really didn't change. I mean, the growth was there, but like nothing big. Like didn't get superpowers or anything. He
was always Xander.
He kept the show grounded.
Yes, like they said in the later episodes, he was the heart.
Yeah, exactly.
Right, he was the heart.
He was the heart.
He was the eyes. He was watching everything. Which one was it?
I think it was the heart.
I'm drawing a blank. So,
I mean, he was always the solid person that they could go to, if they needed.
Yeah, we're gonna talk about him season by season. There's the 4 that are the core Scooby Gang.
Right.
I can't say I agree with him all the time, but Buffy I agree with the most. Most of the time I agree. There are times if you don't disagree with the character you like, then I think part of you is being fake. Well, because if it's such a long arc, they've got to have some opinion you don't agree with.
Right. I mean,
and it's okay. You shouldn't agree with everything everybody thinks.
This is anyone thinks. One of the first shows too where the characters were realistic and not perfect all the time.
Right. It was like what Marvel had done. It was, and then Whedon was a fan of Marvel, so
Right. I mean,
it's
things are
about character. It's about real life. How are they going to feel? How they're going to act? What's going to change them? When are they going to be bad? When are they going to be good?
right.
How far will they go in either direction?
Right. So it's going to affect these characters and change their personalities, or
Life changes you.
it does.
Your environment changes.
That's what made it.
What people do to you changes you.
It kind of made it more realistic to me for the show.
Yeah, the more life changes you, that just says the more wise you are. How can you go through life and be the same person? We know people that never change.
Yeah.
But I want to constantly change. I don't want to be the same person tomorrow that I am today. I want to have learned something new. And that's what these characters do.
Experiences changes that.
Episode, something happens in an episode that forever changes this character. You know?
Right. The choices.
Right. As deep as someone losing an eye to a lint to, life. You know?
Right. The third character part of the Scooby game, Willow.
Yep. Willow Rosenberg.
She plays her best friend, not the popular girl, but
yeah, she's the nerd, the smart, the one everybody makes fun of.
Right.
She's the nerdy girl.
And then exactly.
She's the brains of the group.
And and then she grows leaps and bounds in the show too, and eventually she becomes a powerful character. And then you got
let's not leave on Willow. We gave some time on the others, but with Willow, you've got a character that's shy, oppressed, pushed down, made fun of for her greatest talent, her brain. She doesn't dress like the popular kids. I mean, she's shocked that Buffy even wants to be her friend. I mean, it's like, I like that in that character. Who you want to be talking to me? Is that okay? But I can't talk to you too, and not legally. I mean, yeah, you gotta like Willow's development as a character. I think she develops up there with Buffy as a developed character. I think they all do in a way, but Xander stays the most consistent.
You're right.
Because he isn't affected dramatically by having powers and abilities.
Because Xander serves that character as that rock.
That's why he's the heart. She's the mind. The will, the body.
Right, and then it's because of her intellect and her smarts that she later becomes a witch.
Right, and her thirst for knowledge drives her in a direction, and then Sunnydale, being a mystical space, allows her to develop and become actual witch.
Yeah, and we'll get into the seasons, but she becomes powerful each season. So, then we have their mentor, Rupert Giles.
Right, the mentor of the team. He's the Charles Xavier.
Yes.
Proverbial X-Men.
He starts off as the Watcher, which is a group that just helps Slayers.
The organization that deals with the mystical around the world, and they have controlled the Slayer for hundreds of years.
Right.
When a new Slayer is born, because an old Slayer died, they always die young. The Watchers grab that person and bring them into the organization and control them. Tell them where to live, who to fight, take them from their families.
Right. You find out later that the Watchers aren't as good as they present themselves.
Like any powerful organization, there's darkness there.
Yeah, they use the Slayer as their personal weapon against vampires and demons and evil.
Right.
But and
they don't want that kind of control being free, so they want to control it, harness it for what they want to use it for.
Right, and
they're in charge.
That's what makes Giles unique, and he develops a relationship with Buffy and the gang, and starts to question the Watchers.
Right,
and then
he becomes Americanized. He starts seeing it from their free perspective, because unlike all the other Slayers, Buffy isn't controlled by them.
No,
Giles fails to strike the leadership role in that way. He's more of a mentor, a father figure. He's not a controlling bad
Right.
force.
Not the
He's actually a good person.
yeah.
It's where the rest of the Watchers are in charge. They're the boss. That organization is like, there are black ops in magic and demons and darkness and all the Buffy universe stuff, which covers more than just vampires. It's insane.
Yes.
Their level of the Buffyverse is huge.
Yeah. Very, and it expanded. Yeah, more than just vampires.
Right.
And,
Video games, comics, all the monsters just had spin-off and Angel.
right, and there's role playing games and stuff now.
Yeah, role playing games.
Uh,
Any type of merchandise you can imagine, I've seen.
right. And then we have Spike, who this is an interesting character, where he starts off as a main villain, but the the audience loves this character, so he becomes more, a mainstay cast member.
Yes.
And then this is a character that changes throughout the seasons too.
Technically, he makes the most changes of any character, in my opinion, besides Wesley, who was a one season character in Buffy, but man, did he make insane changes in his. But I'm not back to Spike. Spike makes just insane changes himself. So
yeah, he makes, you're right. He makes the most.
I mean, I don't know how much we want to talk about it now, but Spike does make some serious, I've never heard of changes before.
I think this shows you how good Joss Whedon was at characters, that he took a main villain from a season and turned him into one of the most likable characters in the cast of characters.
Yeah, Buffy definitely was the show that he got to develop how to do superheroes, because that's what Buffy is that she's just a superhero. Yeah. She's more of a superhero than Blade, in my opinion. I mean, I consider Blade. I'm not saying I consider Blade a superhero, but on that level, Blade only deals with a very specific type of supernatural. If he has to choose, it's just vampires.
Right.
To where Buffy is whatever supernatural evil force comes her way.
So he does leaps and bounds of.
Yeah, a lot of the characters develop. Yeah, the more time they have on the show, the more they have a chance to develop their character.
Yeah. And then the next character we have is Anya.
Anya Jenkins.
She was a former French demon that got turned into a regular human by the Scooby Gang.
Yes, but you skipped a big part of her character where she was a human who was cheated on by her husband way back centuries ago as a human. She then cast a spell and turned him into a troll. And then the vengeance demons came and brought her into the fold in the organization, and she became a vengeance demon, where then the Scooby Gang later turned her into a human again.
Okay.
Full history in that sense. Just a quick, when you're saying, just the full history of her. She's a very deep character in that sense, different, because when she's reborn as a demon, vengeance demon, she's fresh. She's a new, and then when she becomes human again, she's been a vengeance demon so long, she has no idea how to be human.
Which eventually she
becomes a vengeance demon again. So yeah, circle.
But when she becomes a human again, she kind of follows the Scooby Gang because she doesn't know what it's like to be human. She hasn't been for centuries, like you said.
Yeah, she has a thing for Xander. So
that there's the character connection with those. So they end up falling in love.
Yep. Xander communicates with her when no one else will, when she's human and she's lost. Xander tells her. Sometimes it's harsh, but he tells her.
Right.
Like, when she asks, he talks.
That's why he's that type of character.
Yeah.
Because to everybody, it's not just.
You should always listen to someone. I mean, even if you disagree with what they're saying, hear their knowledge, hear what they believe. It'll help you know. Someone says, "Hey, I like to eat Survivor pudding." Hey, I'm out. See you later.
Okay. And then the first 3 seasons we had Angel on, who eventually gets his own spinoff series later.
Yep.
Uh, also, Angelus is another part of him. That's the actual non-soul.
We'd have to describe the Buffy verse vampires in that sense. So in the Buffy verse, when a human is turned into a vampire, their soul is ejected from the body and they're possessed by the demon that is the vampire. And they know everything you ever knew. They are you. They have all your memories, everything, even more so than you. And then the demon just takes over. So, if it was Mark coming after me as a vampire, if he doesn't just be callous, I won't know until I'm dead.
Right.
And then boom, the demon got me. Another demon would possess me. Okay. So Angel is a vampire with a soul. He's an original character at this point in the universe. No vampires ever had a soul. And so they're punishing Angel because of all the things Angelus did. They put his soul back in his body. And so now Angel is
right
the good guy.
With all the memories of what Angelus did.
Right. He has to, whenever he's given control of the body again, he remembers everything Angelus did, and Angelus remembers everything Angel does. So that's how it works.
I gotta say, for me, more Angelus is more entertaining to me.
Yeah, I love Angelus. Angel is what he is. He has his part. He's a good.
I like Angel.
Yeah.
But the Angelus.
He's low on the characters that I like, but I do like Angel. I just like differently than I think most people do. There's a different reason I like Angel, not because of his brooding. There's something else I like about Angel, and it's that when it matters, he reminds me of the Thing in the Marvel Universe. He throws it all down there. He just, if it's I gotta jump head first, he jumps head first. I like that in a character that sometimes I'm willing to go. I'm just willing to go right here, right now. And he doesn't do it like, oh, I'm cool. You can just tell I'm willing to do this, whatever it is. I got it. I'm not afraid. If I die, I die. That's the way it is.
Which I think is interesting because Angelus is the complete opposite.
Right.
He's the manipulator, not get his hands dirty.
Yeah, he's only going to attack when he knows he's going to win.
Right. He's not the I'm going to jump right into this battle and stuff. No.
Yeah, he's rope-a-dope.
Yep.
That's what I would call him. He's that rope-a-dope. You think you got him. He's been playing you the whole time.
And it's perfect analogy of that. Yeah. But I thought Angelus is more entertaining me. I like the villain side.
Yeah. The Angel brood, we've all had that brood character, the worst brooding character in the show was Connor by far.
Yeah. And yeah,
that dude. That was G's favorite character. He loved Connor. He just said G was like, he's that animation character. I love him. He reminds it's the characters the animation people love.
I could actually see that, yeah.
Raised in a hell dimension, got everything, got powers. It's a perfect anime character. Broody, dark, quiet, whiny.
Then another character, Cordelia Chase. She was in the first 3 seasons also, and jumps to the spinoff with Angel later.
Another character that makes a lot changes.
Yeah, even in the Buffy season, she made some changes. Yeah, she's the top mean girl, the most popular.
Right. And she starts out in the role that Buffy was before she was a vampire slayer. The mean girl, the popular girl on campus, dating the jocks, the popular guys.
Right, and then she starts to fall into the Scooby Gang. Not always willingly, but
yeah, it's because of they're in the proximity of the Scooby Gang. Her in particular, she's at the Browns with them. She has lots of classes with them. She respects teachers and stuff like Giles and stuff. So that all helps her stay in their orbit and get caught up in stuff. And then getting caught up in it makes you those honorary member of Scooby gangs for a time, if not the rest of your time. Oz is another one that gets swept up in it. They just get swept up in the Buffyverse.
Right.
Everything's normal until shit's all fucked up. What? Demon dogs, werewolves, vampires. What the hell? Right?
Right. Yeah, because Sunnydale's
On a Hellmouth,
on the helm.
which is a portal, an opening, almost a giant manhole cover to a hell dimension. They're called Hellmouths. There are several of them on Earth. They say one's in Ohio, one's in California. In the comics, they say the one's in Central Asia, in Central China, and there's one in Australia. One of the earliest ones was in Australia. So, or at least in the Buffyverse, there's somewhere I know that there's more than just the one. At first, they try to tell you it's just one Hellmouth, but you learn later that there's more than one.
More than one. As you mentioned, Oz.
Oz,
He's another character that comes in season 2.
yeah,
Uh,
sticks around here and there, has an arc, his own
Right.
story.
Right.
Normal kid caught up in stuff. Not so normal when you find out he's a werewolf. He just becomes a werewolf.
Right. And
His nephew's a werewolf.
him and Willa start a romance together.
Right, and that sweeps him up in it.
But yeah, this a werewolf. That's he's the werewolf of the group. You have to be caged during the full moon.
Right.
Uh,
He later learns to control it,
yeah.
but overstressed makes him revert at any time to a werewolf. So he may have suppressed it, but now he made it more dangerous, more like what we know of the Hulk. Through stress and anger, he could suddenly turn into a werewolf in broad daylight.
Right. And this was a mellow, relaxed character.
Yeah, he was always that cool, mellow, chill character.
Like
that Oz vibe.
Yeah.
If you ever watch the show, you'll get that Oz vibe.
No, I like that character. He was pretty cool.
Yeah, I like him.
Then another one is Dawn Summers, Buffy's sister. But
yeah, that's weird because she comes out of nowhere, literally. I don't want to talk really a lot about her. Are we going to go through seasons?
We'll go through seasons,
okay.
So we can save her.
Yeah, that's her younger sister that comes from nowhere and is a magical key that keeps the dimensions separate.
Right. It's season arc.
It's a new character shoved deep into the Scooby Gang, and it's Buffy's sister, literally by blood.
And then I think another like rock of the show for the first 5 seasons was Joyce Summers.
Yes.
Buffy's mother.
Yeah, she's that hidden foundation. When she does, sometimes she doesn't appear in episodes for a while, but when she does, it's always poignant.
And there's always a point.
She helps. I think she helps Angel the most at one point. I believe that, the idea of the vampire, that when Angel was turned, he's Angel that age forever in the brain. His prefrontal cortex isn't fully developed, so he'll always be 18, 17, 19, 20, whatever he was in that low 20s, because it doesn't fully develop till you're 25. And I believe that Joyce, what she says to him, the way she says, one of you has to make this decision. One of you has to be the grown-up. One of you has to do what's right here. It's going to be the 16-year-old girl. Is it going to be 200-year-old vampire? And it made him go, damn, she's right. What kind of future can I offer this girl?
Right.
And that's the first time he ever looked at it that way for real.
Yeah, she always gives the advice that they need.
He had literally been through hell and back to get back to her in that sense. And just the first time someone made him realize you can do more for her than be with her. You'll do far more for her. Let her go. Let her grow up. Let her be a person.
Yeah, great character, great foundation character.
Yeah, she helps.
For the main character. Yeah. For the main characters.
So some of the most, the devastating episodes. And a lot of times I'll watch that episode, The Robot Girl, and forget, this is it.
Yeah.
And it shocks me, and then, dang, man, it's devastating.
Yeah. Especially because, it's like the perfect mother character that you.
Yeah, she did a good job finding out her daughter's a Slayer. All the shit's going on. It's crazy as hell. I thought she took stuff better than most non-informed people would take it.
Right.
She made mistakes.
Right. Some other notable characters. Faith.
Yeah, she's a other Slayer.
Other Slayer.
She comes along after Kendra. I said Kenya.
Right.
After Kendra.
Kendra. Yep.
Yeah.
But this one's a.
So when a Slayer dies, instantly one of the girls in the line that could be a Slayer gets the powers. And when Buffy dies season 1 for a moment,
Yep.
Kendra's born as a Slayer. She's alive. She's a teenage girl. They always are. They're a teenage girl when they start. And she got the power. She became the next Slayer. She gets into the scene. She dies, and Faith comes about.
Right.
So Faith,
who has a totally different upbringing.
Yeah, she's the
than
bad
Buffy.
girl, runaway punk girl.
Right.
Totally opposite of Buffy.
And
the dark sister, if you will.
And that also brings in Wesley, who is now her watcher. And now it's his job to reel Slayer into the Watchers organization to use as a weapon against their.
Technically, he's their watcher, but because Giles is fired at this point.
Right.
But he's just Faith's watcher, is how. Because Faith is her watcher gets killed before you never see him. She's introduced running from an old vampire. Well, Mr. Trick and Conquistos, or Kissing Toast is one of the names Buffy calls him. And they killed her watcher, and she was on the run, came to Buffy. So her next watcher becomes Wesley.
And then it's his job to, bring her in, train her.
Get the Slayers in line, rein them in, get them under control.
Right. And then, Faith also notices Buffy's life. She's got friends.
Everything Faith wanted. The runaway girl wants the family, the friends, the life, her French fries. It doesn't matter. She wants it.
Right. So eventually there's conflict between the two.
Absolutely. So, it starts early. They don't even see it at first. And then it just ramps up like it should.
Yeah. And then,
Faith goes from potential friend to potential Slayer, superhero sidekick buddy to I want you dead, and to a villain and
people.
It even shows with Kenya that two Slayers in presence of one another, which is something I think they could cover in the Buffyverse, they're going to become antagonistic toward one another. There can be only one Peter Parker in the room. Believe me, if the three of them keep hanging out, there's going to be trouble. One's darker, one's lighter, one's more noble, one's more headstrong, things are going to happen.
They're humans, they're different.
Right. You spend enough time around somebody, and I think it's amped up in Slayers. The mystical, there's only supposed to be one.
Yes.
So there's something in that makes it, there can only be one in a room for too long before they start arguing.
And then back to Wesley, when he enters the Buffy universe, he's this clumsy, stuffed up.
He's an English stuffy geek.
Basically, yes.
I mean, it's out of control what they did to this guy.
So that's where he starts.
He's a cliche, funny, physically fall down, scream like a girl, English comedian character. He's not, you can't take him, no one would take him seriously.
No. So, but he'll join Angel's show, and you'll see.
They'll develop an Angel, him and Cordelia, Angel.
Yeah, they all.
Jealous.
Yeah. And then season 4, after Angel leaves, starts his own show. They introduce a new character, kind of like a romantic character for Buffy, Riley Finn.
Right, with the Initiative, Maggie, Adam.
It's a military group like a Black Ops almost.
Right. The fight supernatural, capture them, experiment on them. It's a governmental military secret organization. You go figure that one out.
So, I mean, that's pretty much classic, right?
Right.
At this point.
Yeah, they do the cliche werewolf, the cliche military organization, the cliche people fighting the dark organization and the watchers and stuff.
Right. But then another character as Tara McClay.
She becomes Willow's romantic interest later in this series.
Right.
They become witch buddies.
Witch buddies, yeah.
I believe to this day that's what draws Willow to Tara. I don't think that's. I think that's what turned her gay completely. I mean, she had it in her, but
Right.
that was it. The power she got when they put hands together.
Yes.
You saw everything change in Willow.
Yep.
It was like, a girl in love.
Right. And that eventually that power gets addictive.
Yeah. Of course, the nerd gets addicted to this stuff. Someone without power, given ultimate power, becomes very dangerous real quick. What is it? Power corrupts. Ultimate power corrupts ultimately.
Yeah.
I know there's other ways to say it, but that's how I just said it.
Yeah.